Hi everyone, Jesse here with etrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the Roadmaster charge line kit for towed vehicles on our 2021 Jeep Wrangler 4xe. There's going to be 5 main components to look into when setting up your vehicle to be flat towed. Starting with our base plate, this is going to be the structural mounting point for everything else. And then our second component is the tow bar. That's going to be the physical link between motorhome and towed vehicle. And we have our safety cables. These are here in case of a catastrophic disconnect. If something were to fail, then these will be here to hold everything together so you can get pulled over safely. We have our braking system. That's going to allow you to not only rely on the motorhome's brakes, but also use the towed vehicle's brakes to help you come to a stop. And then we have our diode wiring. The diode wiring is going to send a signal from the motorhome to the tail lights on the towed vehicle to allow those light functions to work properly. That means turn signals, tail lights, and brakes. The charge line kit is not one of what we call the 5 main components of flat towing. However, I think it's very necessary. What it does is it will take a charge from the motorhome with the alternator running and trickle charge your battery in your towed vehicle. So that's going to eliminate the need to stop constantly on the road and start your towed vehicle up to get that battery charged, and also going to eliminate just having a dead battery when you arrive at the campsite and having to find a way to jumpstart your battery. All the charge line kit really is the circuit breaker here and some wire and ring terminals. So installation is pretty simple, especially if you're already running wires or maybe you already have the bumper off the vehicle. It's going to be very easy to run that at the same time, get it connected to the battery. So that's why I'd always recommend just buying it when you're buying all your other flat tow components. It's just going to be that much easier. But really, that's about all there is to it. It's just a simple thing that's really nice and handy when you have it. If you have any questions or concerns about the charge line kit or any other flat tow components, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to be able to help get you pointed in the right direction. If you're looking to get this installed, but you don't think you can do it yourself, maybe you just don't have the time, the space, or the tools, or you're also planning on getting a bunch of other flat tow components, it can be a real handful. Feel free to check out our dealer locator to find someone local to you that would be happy to help you out with that. If you are looking to see how this gets installed, then just follow along and I'll walk you through the process. We'll start our installation by first running our red wire from where our 6-pole is up towards the battery. I actually ran it at the same time I did my diode wiring just to make it easier. But essentially it goes behind the bumper, then behind the grill. And I loomed it up with our diodes and got right to here. This is where I decided I was going to put my circuit breaker. So I cut off, and we're going to keep the slack that we have. Then I stripped it back. But we'll just keep that out of the way for now. Now we need to mount our circuit breaker. I already pre-drilled a hole here just because I know this metal's pretty stubborn to get a self-tapper through. So what we'll do is just take that included self-tapper, line it up with my hole that I drilled, and get that mounted. One thing worth mentioning is we will be running the silver post on our breaker towards our battery, so I just like to put that closest to the positive post on our battery. In our kit, we'll have 3 ring terminals, 2 smaller ones and 1 large one. The large one is going to be for attaching to our battery. We can use either of these studs right here. And then these smaller ones will be our circuit breaker connection. So what I'll do is crimp this on to the end of this, and then our extra wire will get one small one on one end to connect to our circuit breaker, and then the large one on the other end so we can make that battery connection. So I'm going to connect our circuit breaker, but I will leave this battery connection loose until we get our 6-pole wired up, just because sometimes when you're wiring that up with everything connected, you can cause sparks, and that's something I don't want to do. But I will go ahead and tighten down our circuit breaker connections with a 3/8 socket. Now at our 6-bolt connection, it's pretty simple. We'll just strip back some of our wire. I did have a little bit of slack that I just cut off, but strip back some wire. And then our charge line will be the center post here. So just take a Phillips screwdriver, back that screw off just enough so we can fit the wire in, slide it into place, may help to twist it, get it in there, slide it into place, and then we'll tighten that screw down. And once we make this connection, we can go up top and make our battery connection, make sure everything's working right. As I said, we'll be making our connection on this stud right here. You could also use this if you didn't have any extra nuts laying around. I do, so I'll just take this nut and tighten it down. And then if you wanted to test this out, you could hook up to your motorhome and just check that you're getting 12-volt power with a multimeter out of your 6-pole up front. That's going to do it for our look at and installation of the Roadmaster charge line kit on our 2021 Jeep Wrangler 4xe.